my channel. Today I have another meal prep video for you. So my husband actually picked up our weekly groceries tonight after work. So if you saw one of my last videos, it was a huge monthly grocery shopping trip, which that was pretty much everything for the entire month, but we are picking up like fresh produce, eggs, milk, that sort of thing weekly. So he just picked that up. I'm gonna show you guys what we got for just like our weekly groceries, and then we're gonna get into tons and tons of food prep. I have some things that I need to get used up in the fridge. We have some bananas and just some other random things that I wanna get used up. So I'm gonna give you guys a little sneak peek of that, but first of all, I'm gonna show you what we got from the grocery store. So here's everything that we got for groceries this week. It was right around $40. It's mostly fresh produce with just a few other things. I got some eggs. You guys know we have tons of eggs. Got some smoked turkey breast. We already went through all of the lunch meat that we got at Aldi. We just go through so much of that. So I just picked up our normal smoked turkey breast. And then I got some grapes. These were on sale and these are awesome for food prep. Super easy to wash and store. I got some romaine lettuce, some fresh spinach for some recipes. I also got some bananas just for eating. I got some blueberries for recipes and just for snacking on. And then I also did get 2 cartons of strawberries. One is gonna be more for some meal prep and then the other one will just be for eating. I also got 2 gallons of milk. We got some whole milk and some 2%. That's what we get every single week. I also got a big bag of mozzarella cheese. When I went to Aldi, I only got 1 pound of the mozzarella cheese and I didn't realize I needed some more of this for some recipes. So I just picked up a big one of those, as well as our peppers. I think I'm going to make a hummus for this week because that's one of my favorites. And then I also got this wheat bread here. So that is everything that I got for groceries. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I actually have that I need to use up in our house. So I've got these bananas that really need to be used up, but these are absolutely perfect for banana bread, so I'll use those. So we don't have too much in our fridge. The only thing that I really need to get used up is this pumpkin puree. I made this a few days ago and I made my pumpkin bars and I froze most of those, but I do have a little bit in here. I left it in just in case I wanted to bake something or for like pumpkin cream clovers, stuff like that. But I should get this used up, so I think I'm gonna bake something with that. I also do have tons of cucumbers that I got from my sister-in-law, so I'll probably get some of these sliced up so they're just ready to go for quick and easy snacks for the kids too. I'm just starting off by getting all of my groceries put away, and I am also pulling out all of the ingredients that I need to get used up, like the older bananas, the pumpkin puree. I find that when I do this, it just makes meal planning a lot smoother, and I'm also making sure to use up all of those ingredients before they go bad. So for my first recipe, I'm going to be using some of these blueberries from the store. So I'm just going ahead and getting them all prepped and ready to go for the week. So I just dumped the whole container into my salad spinner and I'm running some cold water over them. And I'm also adding in a splash of vinegar, and I'm just gonna let these soak for a good like 5 to 10 minutes just to get them really nice and clean and kill any germs that might be on there. That's how I usually will do my produce, and no, they do not taste like vinegar. It really helps get them all nice and clean, and they're just all prepped and ready to go, so it makes it so much easier throughout the week. Once I'm done, I just pull them out. I do like to rinse them off, and then I will be spinning these blueberries and they'll get nice and dry so I can just have them in the fridge all throughout the week. The first recipe that I'm sharing today is my banana bread muffin recipe. You can also make this into just regular banana bread if you want, but I like to make it into muffins. So I'm just starting off with about half a cup of Smart Balance in my stand mixer. You can also use butter for this, but I always just use the Smart Balance. And then I'm adding in 1 cup of granulated sugar, and I'm just mixing this up into my stand mixer until everything is really nice and creamed together. Once that's nice and creamy and mixed, I'm adding in 2 eggs, Mix that all together, and you're also going to want to add about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Make sure all of that is really well combined, and then you're actually going to be adding in your bananas. So for the bananas here, I would say you're going to want about 3 to 4 bananas. I will usually use 3 large ones or 4 small ones, and I just add these right into my mixer. You can mash them beforehand, but I'm pretty lazy, so I will just turn my mixer on a really high speed and it kind of does all the mashing for me. That's the really quick and easy way to do it. And now it is time for all of the dry ingredients. So I have 1 cup of regular flour with 1 cup of wheat flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and then I'm just going to mix all of this together. This is a super quick and simple banana bread recipe, but it does turn out super delicious. Now here is where you can switch it up and add whatever you want. So I'm just scraping my bowl, and then I'm adding in probably a little over a cup of fresh blueberries. You don't even have to add anything, but you could do walnuts, you could do chocolate chips. You can literally add whatever sounds good to you here, so definitely play around with this one. Now it is time to fill up the muffin tin. So I'm just spraying this with a little bit of oil. I'm using vegetable oil, and then I'm just scooping my batter right into my pan. I do fill these up pretty full. I would say at least 3/4 of the way filled, and they make pretty nice sized muffins. And I would say I normally make like 14 to 15 muffins with this recipe. So you can make quite a few, and these also freeze really well, which is great. So just go ahead and get all of your muffins ready to go, and then they'll be ready to go in the oven. I'm just baking these muffins at 350 degrees for right around 20 minutes. You'll know that they are done when you stick a toothpick in the center and it comes out nice and clean. So this is how the muffins ended up turning out. They're super delicious and yummy, and you can definitely freeze them or just enjoy them throughout the week. And then I am just taking all of those leftover blueberries and I'm putting them right into one of my food savers. I will have these containers linked down below. They definitely make your produce last a lot longer. And then I'm moving on to the strawberries. So I'm basically going to be repeating the same process. I'm running some cold water over them. I'm going to throw a little splash of vinegar in there, and then I'm going to let these sit for about 10 minutes to just get nice and clean. I really do love this salad spinner. I first saw it over on Jen Chapin's channel, and I've been wanting a salad spinner for a while, but she just raves about this thing, so I finally bought it, and I have to say I really do love it. It works really well. It dries everything off, and it makes it be able to store longer in your fridge. I will say make sure you have the bottom wiped off and that it's not wet at all, or it's going to be sliding all over your counter. But this does have a really nice gripper on the bottom. I highly recommend this salad spinner. I will have it linked down below off of Amazon. It really is amazing. If you are getting into like food prep and meal prep, this is definitely a product that I think is worth the investment. I really don't spend a lot of money on kitchen tools. I try to keep it fairly minimal, but this is definitely something that I'm really glad I made the investment in. I thought it would be fun to make some overnight oats with these strawberries. I'm a big fan of overnight oats, so I'm just starting off by getting those ready to go. So I added in about half a cup of this plain Greek yogurt into my cup, and then I'm adding in right around a cup of milk. I just kind of eyeballed it. I'm also adding in a couple teaspoons of honey just to sweeten the yogurt, because it was not sweetened yogurt. If you have a vanilla yogurt or something, you could probably omit the honey in this one. And then I'm just mixing all of this together before adding in all of my dry ingredients. Here I just have 1 cup of regular old-fashioned oats. I'm also going to be adding in a tablespoon of chia seeds and a tablespoon of flaxseed with just a little pinch of salt in there, a little splash of vanilla, and then you're just going to mix all of this together. This is actually going to make 2 servings of oatmeal, so this was enough for myself and my 2 kids. There's actually a little bit left over, so this makes a pretty good amount of oatmeal, so it's a really great budget-friendly option. Once I have all of that that mix together, I'm just adding this into 2 different jars. I used a mason jar, and then I also used just a regular storage container. Just make sure that when you divide this that you're getting the ingredients divided correctly. I ended up having to scoop a little bit of the oatmeal out of one and into the other one because it kind of sunk to the bottom when I was pouring this out into the bowls. So this is going to be a strawberry overnight oatmeal. So I have all of those delicious strawberries. So I'm just chopping them up and getting them ready to go. You will notice that I'm only adding the strawberries to one of these oatmeal bowls. And that is because I wondered if the strawberries were gonna get soggy. So I kind of wanted to experiment with it. And I have to say I made this around like 8 or 9 o'clock the night before, and I had it the next morning and they were not soggy at all. The strawberries were totally fine. So I think if you're going to be eating this the next day, you would be totally fine to throw your strawberries right in there. I will have the recipe linked down below. I tweaked it just a bit, but I did follow it for the most part. I really did enjoy these overnight oats. If you're not a big fan of warm oatmeal, this could be an option that you might really enjoy. Now this next recipe that I'm sharing is a recipe for some pumpkin muffins. And sorry this little clip is out of focus. I promise it comes back into focus in just a minute here, but I'm adding in all of my dry ingredients. So I have 1 3/4 cup of flour. I did do a little bit of wheat flour this time. The recipe called for 1 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and then I'm actually adding in some pumpkin pie spice, but I'm gonna have the original recipe linked down below. I've tried it both ways, and I have to say, go ahead and follow the recipe that I have linked. These spices were on point in that one. I was just running low on cinnamon, so I substituted the pumpkin pie spice, and it wasn't quite as good as the first time I made it, so definitely stick with the original spices in this recipe. Now I'm also adding in my 2 eggs with a little splash of vanilla. I'm also adding in my pumpkin puree. So in one of my last videos, I showed you guys how I actually bake out my pie pumpkins, but you can definitely use the regular puree in the can, not the pumpkin pie filling, but the actual pumpkin puree. You're gonna need 2 cups of that in this recipe. And then once you get everything in there, you're gonna mix it all together. And I did add my coconut oil while I was mixing this. So you're gonna need about 1/2 cup of coconut oil that's melted and ready to go. You're gonna get all of this mixed together really well. I'm prepping my muffin tins just like I did with the blueberry muffins. Now one little tip here is when you're making muffins, go ahead and make a few different batches because you can totally freeze them. So a lot of these muffins are still in my freezer. I will usually set out a few for eating in the next couple of days, and then the rest of them will go into my freezer, and it's just a nice quick easy snack for my kids. They defrost in just a couple of minutes and I absolutely love it. So like I said, I will have that full recipe linked down below for you guys. Now when it comes to storing these muffins, definitely make sure that they get cooled off fully before you store them in any way. So you can either leave these at room temperature for a couple of days, or you can put them in your freezer, which is exactly what I'm doing. Sometimes I will leave some out for a few days, but these ones I just wanted to stock up the freezer so I can just pull them out for a really quick and easy snack. If you have young kids, both of these recipes are super kid friendly. Both of my kids absolutely devour them when I pull them out, and they're very easy for me to throw together and a really great way to use up ingredients that I already have on hand. This next recipe is going to be a total family favorite. I have shared this on my channel before, but I have to share it again because it's so good. We absolutely love this one. So I'm going to be making a homemade hummus. This is also a no tahini hummus. So if you can't find tahini, this is a great recipe. You probably already have all of the ingredients on hand to make this, and it's just very easy to put together. So I just have 1 can of chickpeas or garbanzo beans. I'm just draining them off, but I do make sure to save that liquid because you're going to need it for this recipe. Now I'm just throwing those chickpeas right into my Ninja blender with a few cloves of garlic. I'm also adding in 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. For the seasonings in this recipe, it's pretty simple. You're going to need a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and then 1/8 teaspoon of ground cumin. And then you're just gonna add a little splash of that juice from the can or the water. You're just gonna add enough until you get the consistency that you want. So you can do it a little on the thicker side or a little on the thinner side. I like to do mine right in the middle. This hummus will usually last a couple of days in our house, but between myself and my 2 toddlers, we all really love it. I usually serve this with peppers, cucumbers, chips, anything like that. My daughter will literally eat it by the spoonful, so you know that even if a 1-year-old likes it, it's a good recipe. Definitely try out this hummus recipe. Now I'm moving on to prepping my grapes. It's a good time to prep all of my fruits and veggies. When I get them home from the grocery store, it's so nice for me to be able to just take a couple of hours and get everything prepped and ready to go. It makes my life so much easier throughout the week. I find that if I have fresh fruits and veggies ready to go in the fridge, then I will actually feed them to my kids. But if it takes too much effort, then I will give them crackers or something else for a snack instead. So I like to have this stuff ready to go. It just lets me give them a healthier option without taking a lot of time away from them later. So I'm getting those grapes soaking in the nice cool water with a little splash of vinegar. I'm gonna let these sit for about 10 minutes while I'm working on prepping my veggies. So the veggies this week I'm doing are just some cucumber slices and some peppers. I pretty much prep peppers every single week because they're my son's all-time favorite. If we don't have peppers in the house, he is constantly asking me for them. This is a lot of times his morning snack. Sometimes I will give him just plain peppers or with cucumbers and some sort of fruit, or sometimes we'll do peppers and ranch. It just totally depends, but he pretty much has peppers every single day because they're his all-time favorite. And I definitely do like to get the tri-color pack with the red and the orange and the yellow. I think they're just a little bit sweeter for him and they're a little more delicious than just the typical green pepper. I'm also slicing up some cucumbers. I do like to peel mine just because a lot of times my daughter will be eating these and I don't want her to choke on them. So I make sure to take those peels off and then I'm just slicing these up. I find that the cucumbers don't last quite as long as the peppers. They just go bad a little bit quicker. They get a little bit waterlogged almost. So I will usually just prep enough cucumbers to last for the next couple of days. I really hope that you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already. I do make tons of food videos on my channel. I do a what's for dinner every single Sunday. I have a crock pot series going on right now, grocery hauls, and I do all kinds of food prep videos. So if that is something that you are interested in, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.